Hey guys, how are you all today? I hope everybody's doing well. Oh, my camera's just bouncing up and down. I just ran up the stairs, sorry. It's been a crazy day. Trying to get ready to go out of town to go to, where am I going? Pennsylvania. So I leave crack of dawn Thursday morning, like 3 o'clock in the morning. So looking forward to that. Good to see you guys. 81 degrees there today, Kelly. Wow. I would not. Okay, so Yvonne, I would not put the fonts in OneDrive. I would put the fonts someplace else, but I don't. If you're mapping the way I think you are, you're not mapping correctly. Okay, so I would say don't do that. I would put them on my hard drive somewhere else besides in your documents. So don't know. So it's third of 4 classes today. Happy Tuesday. Yes, happy Tuesday. Yes, I like that. The crack of ridiculous because it is not going to be fun. I don't know. You're going to the beach the rest of the week? You lucky devil. I'm extremely jealous because I am going to be going to cold weather. Yuck. But looking forward to it. Looking forward to the class. I think it will be a good class. My camera's in the wrong position today. Hey, there we go. That's now I'm looking at y'all in not crazy places. Okay. It should go to the default back to the beginning. Boy, howdy, I've got a mess behind me. Sorry about that, guys. Life is a little hectic. So I'm testing out a new camera system today since I had a question, and I can do that question easier going that route. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to see how the new camera system works and see if we like it or not. It's not actually for me. I'm testing this one for brother. So, but it's got auto zoom. So I've got a remote controls to change things with it. We'll see what happens. So we're going to start with scanning something in on the ScanNCut and bringing it into CanvasWorkspace. I know I've done this before, and I'm pretty sure I pointed out the videos where I did that before, but we'll go ahead and do that again. That will be the first thing I do. Then somebody asked a question about bringing a file, and I'll have to get a file ready, but bringing a file from the sewing machine over to the ScanNCut. And I'm going to tell you this, depends on your ScanNCut model as to whether that will work or not. If you do not have a dealer model, that's not going to work. So if you've got an 85, SD85, it is not going to work. It needs to be one of the dealer models. So it would be a 225, a 225F, a 230D, a 230 D, or 330D, or 325. One of those would be the ones that would recognize it. Also on the, oh gosh, I have to remember, a 550 on the CM models, a 650W on the CM models. Those are the two CM models that would recognize it. So you got to keep that in mind. Otherwise, it's not going to recognize the file whether you color code it or not. So we'll do both things, and in between, I'll pull up a file here to do this. So I'm going to switch over to the cameras, and we'll scan something in and scan it over to CanvasWorkspace. All right, so looks like I've got my camera going. Okay, so what I've got here is a little, this one is from the Whole Country Caboodle. So I spoke to them years ago and they gave me permission to use theirs. And we're going to do the springtime flower because I've done the bunny before. We'll do the flower today. Let's turn our little ScanNCut on. Now, y'all remember, it's real important to load your mat the correct way. So make sure it's between your grooves and make sure you have your hand held down on top. Mine went to sleep while I was out. We're going to load it in. And once it goes under the rollers, you can let go. Now, I'm on the scan mat, and you'll get a cleaner scan from your scan mat every single time, just so you know. It's because it does not have those grid marks on it. and that will give you a cleaner scan. Now, what did I do with my little remote control? It fell out of my pocket. Fiddle-dee-dee. Remote control doesn't help much if you don't know where you put it. I held it up for you guys. Where the heck did it go? Oh, there it is. All right. So don't get sick. And there we go. We're going to choose scan, and I'm on my Wi-Fi, so I'm going to choose scan and go to the right, and we're going to scan to transfer to CanvasWorkspace. And we'll just press the start key. So it's telling me my lever's at 2, so I need to change it, which means I need to move that lever down on the left-hand side, and I'll go ahead and press start. So it's going to transfer it over to my computer. We'll say okay, and I'm going to unload. Now, let's go to CanvasWorkspace. Are y'all hearing me? Okay, good. I couldn't remember if I changed which camera, if I changed the mic to something that you could hear. I'll flip it over to this one just so that we're consistently on the right mic. All right, so let me go to share my screen, and we'll share this window. Okay. Here's some Canvas work. Oops. Will help if I can get it over there. So here's Canvas Workspace. So we're going to go up to File, and we're going to import from our cutting machine and a scanned image. So that's the important part. We don't need my camera on there any longer. Let me see if I can get it out of the way. Oh, actually, let's try a different way. Let's delete that. Let's do image, and then an image scanned by my machine. Yep, that'll work better. Ooh. Huh. Try it again. Well, it's seeing everything from behind. So that one would be one that I would be better off tracing around it. Wonder why it's scanning so dark. There we go. All right, so change your number of colors down to 2. Now, it almost got everything, not quite. Let's see what 3 does for us. 3's too much. We'll go with 2 and see if we can't fix this. And then say, okay. Close, but not exactly. So then you can come in and play with it. If you notice, I'm going to hit my select tool, and let's go into our layers window. And you can see that we have a lot of little internal. That's the outside. That's an internal. We can delete it. So I'm in my layers window, and I can just delete it. And if you want an easy way of knowing what you can delete, just come over there. Let's just tap them twice. Or I could ungroup it. Now, I'm not crazy about the way that did it, so I would probably draw. It's the reason it did it is because it has two images on. Let me show you. Where's my mouse?
All right, so let me change cameras here. All right, you see this? There's an image on this side and an image on this side. And usually when I have something like that, I'll trace it instead. It just picked up both images. We could try it one more time and see if I fold it together, if that makes a difference. Let's see if we can get a better scan. We'll try it one more time. But I think I'm going to get even more trash, because now it's got 3 layers to look at. Okay, so let's see here. I don't know that changing the settings on that will help, but we'll look. I'll be happy to look. It's been a while since I've done this trick. Let's just do File and New and bring that back in. Oh, see, that's even worse. So that's even worse. Let's try one more thing. We'll look at our settings and see if there's anything there that we can play. We'll look and see if there's anything there we can play with. I guess it does help if I pick the correct camera. But I don't think there are here on this particular method. I can pick my scan area, but I can't change the density of the image. Let's try one last thing. Let me turn on a light to see if I can trick it a little bit. And if that doesn't work, then I would trace it, honestly. And that's such an easy pattern to trace. I would probably trace it in CanvasWorkspace. Let's see what happens. I wasn't crazy. You couldn't do any. All right, so let's do File. Oops. The leaf again. Let's see if it made any difference to put a light over the top of it. It made absolutely no difference. So in that case, let's see what 3 does. Let's crop it in. So yeah, in that case, I would go ahead and just say okay, and I'll show you what I would do personally. I would ungroup it. And I would get rid of all of these parts. Well, one part did okay. I'd get rid of these. And then I would use my drawing tool and trace around things. Because I can do that a whole lot faster than I could manipulate that to work. Now I'll show you a scan. Oops, I clicked on top of one, but you get the concept, okay? Yeah, I don't think a piece of paper would not work for me on this one either, simply because it's printed on both sides. So that would not work. But let's see, let me show you one that will just scan an image in if I can find my stinking mouse over here. There we go. Go back over to that camera. Let's try a different image. See if it likes the bunny. Well, let's just do one we know will work. All right, so this guy right here, I know will work. Actually, I prefer tracing in PE Design if I'm tracing an image, but it just depends. I think it's easier to do it there because I have different control keys that I can play with. Oh, y'all, I turned on chicken and I forgot to turn it down. All right, so we are going to come over here, import that image from my machine, and then this time we should have a good result. There it is. We're going to go, let's crop it down to what we would be looking at. And let's go, let's trace areas. Ooh, no. Reduce those colors. Wow. I'm just not having any luck at all today. One that I know works. Huh. Because I've done this one before. Huh. Life doesn't like me today, guys. So I cry uncle. The whole purpose was to show you how to get the image over. I've done that. But I'm not having any luck with my items today. Don't ask me why. I couldn't tell you. It's just not liking me today. What can I say? But yeah, I mean, I could copy the page. I could take it to my copier and copy the page. I could scan it to you. There is one other way. If that's not working, we could do this. Hold on. There's one other thing we could try. No, this does not work on the CM models. So I'm gonna show you. There's one other thing we could do. I think it's because I'm live today. You know, hey, nothing's working. Let's see if this likes me this time. No, it does not. It is not gonna, that one's just not gonna like me. I am not sure what's going on with me today, but there is something else we can do. So let's go, let me show you the other trick you can do. Instead of bringing the image in, you could bring your image in afterwards, but we have control if we do something else. We're going to scan to cut data. And I'm going to change it to black and white mode. We'll see if that works for me. And press start. Now here I can control the image density. Where did I lose my stylus? Y'all, I need a keeper to go behind me. Now with this one, I can choose outer edge only. So I can choose outer edges only. I can crop to what I want it to do. and I've got some trash in the can. I could go ahead and work on that here, or I can work on it somewhere else. I can try ignore object size and increase this number to where it tries to get rid of those excess lines. Oh, I may have gone too far. I did. Okay, let's try that and let's say okay. We may still have some trash in the can, but no big deal. Let's transfer it to CanvasWorkspace. Now I can work on it in a bigger size. I will not have my image behind it, but I can work on it in a bigger size. So let's come over here. And this time we'll go up to File, Import from my cutting machine, FCM file, because that's what I did. There's my file. Now, if I wanted to futz with it, I could, and everything, all of my trash is out. So it worked better going transfer to saving the FCM file. If that gives you any, if that helps any at all. Otherwise, I would have ended up tracing over mine. But I can work on this on a bigger screen, which makes it my life a little bit easier. Okay, now the next question was how to save a file that's an applique from the ScanNCut and use it on the machine itself. So let me flip over here and we'll get a file. Let's do PE design. I have enough drives on my computer to kill a cow. And what is that one? G. Okay. I'm going to act like this is we're going to just change this to a running stitch. Turn off the fill, and I'll copy it and I'll paste it and change that to a zigzag stitch, and we'll change its color. What color palette am I in? So I've got 2 steps, and we're going to send this to my USB drive. Okay. We're acting like that's an applique from somebody else, guys. I know technically there should be 3 steps. We're going with 2. And let me go over here. Oh, I've got fingerprints all over my screen. You can tell I was playing with that. Okay. Navigate around cameras here. I was sewing earlier today. All right, we'll go into embroidery. And we'll go out of the pocket. USB. And here's the file that I just saved. We'll go ahead and set it. To change it, so we're acting like I was not in PE design. You got this from someplace else, and you want to make sure that it cuts correctly, okay? So you go into edit, and you choose the thread palette. Make sure embroidery is the thread palette that is selected, and scroll down and touch the scissors, and then touch OK. Touch your memory, and then the USB. That will save it back out to your B pocket. All right, and that's where we're going to go look for it, in the B pocket. Now, close your eyes for a second because you may get nauseous. I'm going to switch back over to this machine, this camera over here. All right, let's go home and let me get rid of my mat. Retrieve data from the USB stick, and we're going into the B pocket. And this is if you don't have a Luminaire or Stellaire that's connected via wireless. This is the only reason I go this route. But there's your file. And I selected this one because we color coded it. If we choose this one, both colors are all of the colors that are in there will come out. And that's not what we want. We want to choose the one that's applique data because that will give us the actual size that it is. And you can touch set at that point. Okay. Now, as I said, you must have a ScanNCut that is a dealer model. Okay. If it's not a dealer model, you're out of luck. Okay. The only exception to that rule is the 230Di on Amazon. Okay. The rest of them, not going to work. Okay. It's got to be a dealer model, which means a 225, a 230, a 325, a 330, 225F. That's still a dealer model. Those are 5 dealer models. If we go down to the CM models on this, that would be the 550 and the 650W. Okay. Those are the ones that read color-coded PES files. Now, if I were going from my Luminaire, I would, and I've got my connection because I've got a 325 or a 330D, then I would have just transferred it from CanvasWorkspace. Excuse me, transferred it to the ScanNCut machine. You want me to show that? If so, let me do this before we get nauseous. Did you go? Nope. There it goes. So, oops, sorry, baby. I did not mean to step on my pup. So if I am on a Luminaire or a Stellaire and I have my connection enabled because I have one of the 2 models that have it, a 330D or a 325, this icon right here pops up. I simply touch that and it will transfer it. You go ahead and say transfer, and then we'll go over to the ScanNCut machine. We'll go home and we'll go over to my connection and retrieve from your wireless LAN device. And once again, you're going to use the applique badge. There you go. And set it. So that's all there is to it, but it depends on what you've got as to which way you would go. Okay, guys. I'm done with ScanNCut for the day. Okay, guys. Next up is font mapping in PE Design 11. Yvonne, this one's for you. Option, and we're going to go to the Font Creator program up here at the upper right corner. Go to your option pull down menu, Font Creator program. And we are going to set our standard character height from the embroidery file itself. That way you know that it's correct. So then you go, this window pops up and you're going to go find what file you're looking for. And I believe Yvonne said that these are an Anita Good Design. This is an Anita Good Design alphabet. So I'm going to go ahead and say, okay. Wait a minute. Did I take those out of there? Wait a minute. Nope, they should be in there. Why are you not showing up? Oh, because I have to scroll down. They're in the lower cases. Okay, so we're going to go from this letter M right here. I would have personally named these uppercase letters just so you know. Now, you're going to do multiple import. Once you do that, you can select them all and import them. You'll notice they are named lowercase characters. So that's where you're going to find them. This window pops up. And you'll notice they're all in the lowercase places. So we'll say close. And now if we go to our character map, you'll notice that the lowercase a is there, which is, even though it's an uppercase A, that's where it's going to be on your character map. So when you go to use these, you would need to remember it's auto mapped them in the lowercase place. So now I'm going to save this, do a file, save as, and we'll save it as Yvonne 2. And I'll press save. Now let's open up a new window of PE Design. Right mouse click down there on my icon and pop it up. And we'll go up here to our font. And then these are your user mapped fonts. Now we're going to say lowercase a, b, c. And I'm going to choose Yvonne 2. There's my Yvonne 2 right there. Okay. So they weren't actually styled, Yvonne. They were down there. They were down in the lowercase letters. So I just didn't really think about it. Beverly. No, the PR 125 will not, the PR 1055X will not see the 125DX. It doesn't matter that they're wireless. The only thing that talks to a ScanNCut, and it's specific ScanNCuts, are the Luminaire and the Stellaire that have my connection enabled with a 325 or a 330D. Those are the only ones that came with the activation code for my connection. The PR 1055 has not gotten that technology at this time. They have not done an update for that. So just letting you know. 125 does not read color-coded ScanNCut files either. A 125 is a mass market model, which means it is not compatible with the color coding system. So it is not going to talk that way. And the only way that you can get it to do wireless is through my connection. That's the only way that they actually communicate to each other. The other method is you're taking a USB stick out, but yours is not is simply not going to do. It's not going to recognize the PES data. Okay. No, you cannot send wirelessly to a 230D. It does not have my connection. You can send from CanvasWorkspace, you can send from PE Design, but you cannot send from machine to machine. So the only two, and I can't say this enough, there are 2 ScanNCut models and 2 machines. The ScanNCut models are 325 DXs and 330 DXs. They come with the My Connection code. The 2 sewing machines are the Stellaire and the Luminaire. And you have to have My Connection enabled on both. And the only way you get that is to have one of those 2 ScanNCuts. Okay. I mean, you know, I understand, guys, it's unfortunate, but they added a new side of the brain to the ScanNCut for that to work. Now, the features that it unleashed on my Luminaire are absolutely awesome. I'll have to say, I love what it unleashed on my Luminaire. I would have done it simply for the applique, what it does for appliques on the machine itself. Y'all want me to share that? I don't think I have anything else on my list of things that have to be done today. Hold on. Pop over there. Trying to keep you from getting nauseous. So if you have My Connection enabled on a Luminaire or a Stellaire, you can bring in any embroidery design. It does not matter where it comes from besides Disney. But I'm just going to pull something in the machine itself because I don't think I have anything else hanging out there. Oh, that's a terrible colored one. Let me pick something that's got a darker color to it. And you can turn any part of this into an applique. The way you do it is you go into edit, and usually when you touch your applique key, this is the only key that you see, okay? Applique patch, and that goes around your area. When my connection is enabled, this key right here is enabled. So you can simply touch that, select the colors that you want it to create the patch from. So let's say I want those two colors to have a patch. Then I touch next. I can choose what kind of a stitch I want. That is a very light zigzag. This is your regular satin, and this turns the stitch off. I would do a very light zigzag. Touch preview because it's going to be layered underneath, and touch next. And you'll notice my pink is no longer showing. It is now an applique. And if there are any colors that you want to turn off, you can select them and touch no sew. So if I don't want to sew those white little things, I can turn off the whites and then touch OK. Now, when you embroider, you're going to have two applique steps first. To transfer that to your scan and cut machine for it to cut, you would touch memory, transfer to scan and cut machine. Now, the other thing that it does is in my design center, you have a retrieve from scan and cut button. So if I touch my stamps and shapes, I have a scan and cut key right here. It's going to tell me I don't have anything hanging out in there, but whatever I've done recently will show up here. So anything that's built into the machine, beside the scan and cut machine, besides Disney, can be sent over here to be turned into embroidery. So if I want to turn this into an embroidery, I simply touch it, touch OK. Now I can do whatever I want to with it. I can, if I want to turn it into an applique, I would give it a color, and I'd simply touch next. Actually, I think I want it bigger because that's going to be a little bit small. So let's select it all, and let's size it. And we'll just set it. And now when you go into edit, that applique key again, applique patch for selected colors. Select the color that you want it to turn into an applique, and I would choose both of them. And you can do a regular satin stitch, or you can do a zigzag stitch. It's done the outside, so if I want outsides and insides, I touch the second one. And there you go. Go ahead and touch next, touch OK, and you have an applique done directly on the machine without having any software besides the machine software in there. Oop, what did I just do? Oh my goodness, I almost turned the camera over. Okay, let me come and see what questions we have. What? For puff digitizing, you really don't want much undersewing. You're wanting to have, I would do an edge run. So if I'm in P design and I'm doing a puff letter, I would go in my sewing attributes, I would do the outside edge, basically the contour. And if we look in there, it's wrong. Let me look and see what we've got. Let's zoom in. That's as small, as little amount of undersewing as I can get. You just want it to do the contour as much as you can because you don't want it to tack your foam down. Now, density wise, you can go quite a ways up. Because you're wanting to get it capped off. And I'm sure I've done an entire segment on this. The biggest thing is you have to cap your ends, okay? So the biggest thing is you would want to come in and cap the ends. Because if you don't, your foam is going to leak out. And I always tuck that down below. Okay. And you would do that for any open end. So it's going to have to be done for these ends as well. All right. So what do we got here? Yes, if you change the color to applique material, Jennifer, you can use that method for cutting your appliques for purchase designs. I would probably add an offset to those because they are not created with the cut line to the outer edge. In PE design, it automatically creates it it puts the inset of the cut line to the outer edge so that it will get covered. So that's what I would say. Custom quilting designs. Are you talking about decorative fills? You're going to have to clarify that one for me, Patricia. No, I am not going to be at the Everything Embroidery Market. That is not on my schedule. You'll have to ask them for me to come there next year. It works very similar. Not the exact same, but very similar. So if I'm in, let's go to the font creator. So this one you would do new, instead of new font mapping, we would create a new font and you would convert from TrueType font. So then you pick your font that you're wanting to convert and you say, okay. It automatically does it for you. Now, what I tend to do is to go to my view tab and I turn off the background so I can see what I think it's going to look like. And then I'll turn on my preview window so I can see what it looks like. If there are things I don't like about it, I will adjust the nodes. And so what you want to do, though, is you want to convert to TrueType font. So let me do TrueType font. It's not letting me letter import. I swear at one point it let me do multiple imports, but it does not. So you just go and pick each character and you can just keep hitting the right arrow until it does them all. But if I'm going to play with it. And then, so what is the advantage of doing this? The advantage of doing this is that if you come in here, what did I do? Aha, there's my, looky there, gang. Oh, nope, it's only showing me the one. The advantage of doing this is if I go to my letter A and I see here, and I don't really care for the way that looks like. And I would fix it. Instead of just, if I converted it to blocks, it would not be a one and done. It would be multiple times. So I would come in and I would futz with my nodes. Because I think that needs to be a bit fatter. Oh, fiddle-dee-dee, undo. And then you can see how it's changing, how it looks over here. So it will be done once and for all, and I don't have to do it each and every time. So I don't mess with this unless something's going wrong with that particular font, or there's something I want to do. Okay, so let me see here. Sure, Juanita. I look forward to seeing you. I will bring some sublimation with me. I'll also bring some print motor samples. So I've got a few things that I'm going to be doing. Oh, like the designs that I sell. Okay, so do you want to do them on the Luminaire or in software? Help me out there, Patricia. Because in the Luminaire, they're done off the custom tab. It has to be a Luminaire 3. So, and it's only a Luminaire, but in P Design, I'm sure I have plenty of videos on that one. But I do have, if you purchase the collections, there are videos showing you step by step on how to use each and every one that I've done. But if you're wanting to know how to do it over there, give me just a second. Let me flip cameras and let me go turn off my chicken because I don't want it to boil over. Give me 2 seconds. Okay. All right, guys. Whew. All right, here we go. Well, I can actually show you a couple of things here. Let me put, these are, my decorative fills are on here. If I wanted to just go around this and not inside anywhere, I can put them in right where they are and I can touch my stipple button. Choose decorative fill and select. Choose your custom tab and choose out of the memory pocket. Now, if it's one of mine, let's see here. Here's my Christmas decorative fill. So winter collection, actually, nope, wait. Winter collection. Here's the decorative fills. So let's say we wanted to have mittens on here. There's my mittens. I touch OK. You tell it what hoop you want it to go in. And you tell it how far from the original pattern you want it to be. And then you can choose what size you want it to be. And you can say, OK. Now, if you ungroup, you can actually change the order that it stitches. Right now, and I want it to stitch last. But if you wanted it to stitch first, you can actually move it to stitch first by saying stitch, just moving it in the up position. If you want to use them through my design center, let's grab a stamp or a shape. Go into your fills, touch decorative fills, and touch select. Touch your custom tab, and then once again, out of the pocket. Here's my winter fills. And let's say we want to do snowflakes. Pick your color, paint bucket, and tap inside it. And then touch next. And all of the adjustments that you can make to any regular decorative fill, you can make to these. Let's go ahead and change the color so you can actually see what is in there. Let's make it green. So I can increase my size. I can decrease my size. I can change the offset percentage, which is down here. You can adjust. You can turn on the outline. You can change it from triple to single. So if you don't want it to be as heavy of a stitch, you do have that option as well. And it can be turned, you can also put it around a stamp. If you had a stamp that you wanted to put it around, you can certainly do that. You can fill a hoop with them. You have all kinds of options there. All right. So Kelly, or so DJ Kev, Kelly loves your questions. You do. No, I am not going to be at the Lakeland Quilt Show, and I am not going to be in Duluth, Georgia. My next 2 travel events are, I will be this week, I will be in Northeast Pennsylvania, and yes, that's a city, at Super Stitch. I'm there Friday and Saturday. Friday is a PR 1055 class. So if you're looking to learn more about that 1055, be sure and sign up for that if you're in that area. It's near Erie, Pennsylvania, about 20 minutes away from there. And about an hour and 15, I think, from Buffalo, and about 2 hours from Cleveland. The only reason I know that is I'm flying into Buffalo because there were no flights for me into Erie. So I had to figure out which one would be the closest to it. And then I'll be in Crofton, Maryland, the weekend after, doing a 2-day Luminaire owner class. My custom designs only work on a Luminaire or a Solaris that's been upgraded to a 3, because that's the only place that they do. They also work through PE Design 11, but those are the only 2 machines that have that custom fill option. So it's a Solaris 3 or a Luminaire 3. Well, bummer. So I don't know what possessed me to go to Pennsylvania into February, but that's where I'm headed. It's going to be, I think, in the 70s here this weekend, maybe 60s, and it's going to go down to the 30s there. So I'm not looking forward to that as much, but I'll be inside all day. So what does it really matter, right? All right, guys. Are there any other questions for me today? Oh, you know what? I forgot. And Cindy, I am still praying for you, sweetie. You are on my list. I forgot to delete some of my stream so that this would record for me today in my thing. Oh, well, I guess I'll have to pull it from someplace else. Occasionally I head out west. It really depends on dealers. That's why during COVID, it was kind of nice. I had time to be able to fill up, make different classes and do them myself. Now that I'm traveling again, I don't have as much time for that. So, it is what it is. I schedule things through dealers simply because they have the resources and they have a place to do it, and they will provide machines. So like the Luminaire class that I'm doing this weekend is, it's truly for non-owners, but so if you're really interested in taking a test drive of a Luminaire, that's a great way to go, because you're going to get a project. You're going to learn what my design center features do. We're going to learn about some of the sewing features that are on it, and you get to test drive it. But if you're one of their customers, they allowed their customers to come as well. So, 10 degrees. I am so glad I'm not in Minnesota. There's a reason I moved away from Michigan. I have nothing close to North Alabama, not even in my own city. So, you're most welcome. Well, it wouldn't be unheard of. I've actually been to Australia and taught in Australia, so it wouldn't be unheard of for me to come your direction, but I don't have anything on my schedule at this time to go overseas. So, all right, guys, if there is nothing else for me today, I'm going to say goodbye, and I will see you here next week. So be sure to send in your questions. I think I hit everybody's questions that were asked this week. If I didn't, let me know, and I will do that next week. I'm looking to see if I missed anything. So you liked Cynthia's software chat. Well, I tried the name out today, and I think if we start with episode 1, we can remember what happened when, and what episode we're on. So it's just it's an extension of our software shut-in fund, but we're no longer shut in. So we may as well give us a new spiffy name. So nothing's really changed. It's the same old, same old. And we'll still answer the same questions. It just gave us a new name, something a little bit more spiffy than what we were doing. So, all right, guys, y'all have a great rest of your day. Be sure and like and share my page. Oh, and let me know if there's anything else. Okay. Y'all have a good one. Bye.